I'd love to take you back down memory lane. And I'd love to take you back to first grade for me. I was in first grade at age 5 because there was no kindergarten. But my mother had taught me at home how to read, write, and do math when I was about 3.5, 4 years old. So she put homeschooling in vogue. And she taught me, and her thing was, you're going to school, because I'm the president of the 2-room schoolhouse here in the country. She talked to the teacher and told the teacher what I could do, and she put me in school. Unfortunately, that put a bad taste in my mouth for school, because I enjoyed being homeschooled, because I was in the house with my grandmother, my mother, my aunts, uncles, and my cousins. We lived in a big, extended family house just outside of Annapolis, Maryland, about walking distance from the U.S. Naval Academy. And I just enjoyed being there. So when my mother said, oh, you have to go to school with your brother now, and so I go to school, and for the first 3 years, I did not enjoy school. I told someone recently, I hated school. I don't want to use that word hate, but I did not enjoy school. The regimentation of it was just a bit too much for me. So by the time I got to 4th grade, I had such a sparky, peppy, enthusiastic teacher who gave me a whole new desire for school. And then my mother had encouraged me to become a teacher. She said, Liv, that's what you want to do, is to become a teacher. And I did, in fact. So for 5 years, I taught school. So let's get to the part about law. How did I become a lawyer after being a science teacher, teaching physics and biology and physical science and things like that? Well, unfortunately, the discipline in the school, or the lack of discipline, drove me away. It was just absolutely too overwhelming in terms of trying to teach and try to correct other people's children. And so a girlfriend of mine said, you should consider law school. So literally, when I went into law, it was because of a change of career. I wanted a different career. So I know I hear people say, I went into law because I want to help people and I want to do this and I want to give back and so forth. I went because of a change of career, and I went because I needed to make more money, because by this time I was married with 2 children and did not have my house, picket fence, or the dog and the cat. So it's like, okay, I think I could make a little bit more than $7,800 a year. And so anyway, I got into law school at University of Maryland, went through in 3 years, had some great classmates, Elijah Cummings being one, the late Congressman Elijah Cummings, a dear friend. We met on day 1 of law school. We went through the 3 years. Most of our classes were the same. At the end of the 3 years, we studied for the bar together at my house. My house was the hub, the basement there. My children at that time, Mark was 6th grade, so he was, and then his sister's 4 years younger. So actually, you were younger than that. Karen was 4 and you were 7. So I had.
When you started.
When I started, that's when I started. So, I have 2 children. My husband has a business. I'm trying to help him to grow his business, and I'm going to law school. And I had a very supportive husband, because I told him I cannot go to school at night, teach full-time, be a mother and a wife. And he was just an amazing man who supported me in everything I dreamed of. And so therefore went to law school, studied for the bar. We passed the bar, praise God, first time around. And so from there, I had a number of different jobs. Started out looking for jobs, and unfortunately was turned down for a lot. And primarily because I was a woman. I actually had employers. I had judges. I had people who were head of government agencies to interview me and would ask me, well, what are you going to do for childcare? Who's going to take care of your children? Well, what if you have to work late? Who's going to fix dinner? Literally, these were questions that were asked. And I said, I have a very supportive husband. But as time went on, I was able to, get jobs. I worked for the EEOC, which was my federal job. I worked for the state of Maryland as an assistant attorney general for a period of time. I worked for the city of Baltimore in the homicide and special narcotics unit for Kurt Schmoke, who is now the dean at University of Baltimore Law School. But Kurt and I came out at the same time, and we both had visions, and he said, come with me. You want to do some trial work? I'll give it to you. So I was a prosecutor for 5 years, prosecuted major narcotics cases, homicide. You know, people ask me, do you look at The Wire? I said, why? Because I would feel like I'm at work. It is so real. And in fact, a number of those episodes that you see are taken directly from court records in Baltimore City, Circuit Court of Baltimore City. And they may have changed some of the names, but actually the man who was my supervisor in the Special Narcotics Unit later became a judge, and he was actually featured in several of the episodes, Judge John Priebus. So with all of that experience, I decided that I'm going to start my own law firm. And so that's how Addison-Darden came about. My son was in law school at the time, and he would work in the summers. He had some jobs in D.C. As an intern. And when he graduated and passed the bar, actually before he graduated and passed the bar, he said, I really like private practice. I said, well, I could help you get a job in the prosecutor's office or this office. He said, no, I really like what I'm doing. And so from day one, pretty much, he's been with me.